What inspired the name PMS?
Okay, PMS incidentally came accidentally because we started the company as professional marketing services. It never even occurred to us that we would have an acronym. But when we would meet clients, the name ended up being such a mouthful that they opted to call us PMS. Then over time, we would find a lot of people sniggering because of the implications of the terms PMS. And so we got to like it because we said it makes us memorable. So that's how we became PMS. And as we've grown, we established the PMS group.
Tell us about your journey to this point.
I come from an entrepreneurial family. So from when we were growing up, we were always helping out in the family businesses. And so I guess we learned to hustle pretty early on. So when I went into college, I did my first degree. And when I was looking for a job, the first place I looked was in sales because I wanted to work with people. I worked for the Standard newspapers. And then after that, I went and worked for Colgate-Palmolive. Well, at Colgate, I found that we were looking for a lot of outsourced marketing services, but we were not getting the quality that we were looking for. And so even when we outsourced for services, I would find that I'm increasingly spending a lot of time with the service providers. And so I wondered, what if I step onto the other side and now become a service provider to clients like Colgate? And that's how I started the business. When we started PMS, it was a little outfit with just me. It was a micro enterprise. And the most interesting thing that I recall is that it took me a whole 2 months to realize that it was cheaper for me to hire a messenger, driver, cleaner, rather than for me to be locking up the office and getting into my car to drive to industrial area to deliver a document. It took me a whole 2 months. And so that always makes me think how desperately in need a young entrepreneur is for support and mentorship from people who've walked the path before.
What services does PMS offer?
PMS is a 360-degree agency. That means that we offer both below the line and above the line marketing services. Now, above the line means advertising. So really things like the billboards, the adverts you see on television, on radio, in the newspapers, as well as a lot of other like online communication, social media, etc. When it comes to below the line, it's the actual face-to-face activation with the consumers or with the clients, where we engage them either through roadshows, through promotions, merchandising. There's so many different aspects, and we do it all.
What's your opinion on being branded Queen of Product Placement?
I find it interesting that people call me a lot of queens. Queen of Enterprise, Queen of Product Placement, Queen of Product Distribution. But I guess it's because for the last 16 years, as the PMS Group, I've had a wonderful team with whom we have understood the Kenyan market and especially the route to the consumer. From the time the product is leaving the factory to the time it gets to the consumer, for them to use it and use it again. And in understanding the psychographics around that, we have mastered what it is that makes them do what they do. Based on the research, we have found the methods to use to make sure that when we work on a particular product, we ensure that first and foremost you like it, because you always buy something because you like it. And then secondly, that your experience and your opportunity to buy is maximized. So for example, if you enter a supermarket and it's a hot day, you'll usually find Del Monte fridge conveniently close to the entrance so that when you're still hot and bothered, you see it and you just think, oh my goodness, what if I had some tropical juice, or some apple juice? And then you'll pick it up because, shopping is psychological. So you pick it up, whereas it wasn't on your shopping list. So that is product placement. We also do a lot of work with the supermarkets to make sure that their planogramming is right. Now, planogramming is where when the customer enters the supermarket, most of us, we work on a right orientation. So what is the product I will see to my immediate right at eye level? And so if I'm working with a client's product, I want to make sure it's the first product that you see at eye level, because then you're comparing everything else to my product. And if you're comparing to my product, you've already positioned my product in a superior level. And that's what we call now product placement. So we do a lot of merchandising, what is typically known as merchandising, meaning that we have teams in the supermarket representing some of our clients and making sure that the products are properly, most prominently placed, well priced, clean, facing you at the right angle, eye level, and maximum visibility in terms of the amount of space that they're occupying in the supermarket shelf. None of these things happen by accident.
How did it feel to win the top mid-sized company award?
Wow, let me tell you, it was the most amazing experience for me. First, because it was so unexpected. We had entered the top 100 medium-sized companies, and we emerged number 23. Now, when we were number 23, we were over the moon. We were so excited.
Yeah.
But then I reflected on how did we make it to number 23, and I wanted to go in depth onto why. And so we worked with KPMG and Nation Media Group, and I had finance consultants because they pointed me in the direction that if we focus on our financials, which is the heart of the business,
Yes.
then we'll get everything right. It took us 2 years to feel that we were ready to enter the competition again because there was so much cleaning up to do, which I hadn't known at the onset. But once we got a financial consultant to help us understand what the financial ratios should be, where we need to cut costs, making sure that whatever revenue we are generating, we're not eating it up in the middle with all the expenses, but we're actually ending up with a profit and therefore a return on investment for the investors. So based on that, when we then entered the top 100 in 2010, we were so shocked to be number one of all companies in Kenya. And of course, when I was declared the top entrepreneur in Kenya for the year, it was most exciting because now I won not just top woman entrepreneur, but also top entrepreneur, you know, which was amazing. And I think it is, for me, the most gratifying bit is that then it creates a role model for other women who are starting out in business to follow, so that they can know that it's not really as much of a man's world as they think. I was not running my business or entering the competition to fight men.
Yes.
I was simply doing my job.
Yes.
So the fact that I emerged top was a pleasant surprise and something that I think is useful to help women to be more motivated to try and raise to the highest heights.
As FEWA chair, what's the future for women entrepreneurs?
Okay, first, FEWA, the Federation of Women Entrepreneur Associations, I'm the founder chairperson. And part of why we formed FEWA is that we felt that it is important for women entrepreneurs to create a network where they support each other. As you know, when somebody starts out in business, there are so many challenges. And most of them, you're ill-equipped and you don't even know where to seek for help. Also, we realized that women's method of seeking information is different from men. So in as much as you may disseminate information through the mass media, a woman sometimes just wants somebody to sit down with them and talk through them. Simple, broken down to the language they understand, and where they can ask as many questions as they like in a safe environment, or what they perceive to be a safe environment. So in FEWA, we want to create that safe environment for women to come and network with each other and support each other. Because we are not the authorities. I mean, each one of us is an authority in a different area. But when a woman comes to talk to me about beadwork, I know nothing about beadwork. However, I can tell them, I can't help you with the creative, but I can help you with how you can do your distribution channel. I can help you with how you can do your costing. I can help you with how you can do your packaging, you know. They will go to somebody else within the team who will tell them they can help them with sourcing with some of the raw materials. So it brings together women. And FEWA is a wonderful resource available, and I really wish more women would create more networks and plug into FEWA. Because through FEWA, we're also able to advocate for policy to support women in business. For example, we find that a lot of the legal framework in Kenya is actually supportive of both gender. There's no discrimination at the legal level. But the social level, you still find people have a lot of discrimination. When you walk into a meeting and you're accompanied by a gentleman in a smart suit, automatically the presumption is that he is the boss.
Yes.
This is not something that you can change through legislation, but it is something that we can help women to support themselves, that when they get into a meeting, they know how to project themselves as leaders. They know how to be feminine, but at the same time assertive and authoritative. And these are only things you can learn from people who have walked through the challenges before. And those are some of the tools that we are able to support our women entrepreneurs with at FEWA.
How large is FEWA?
FEWA is very big because what we've done, FEWA is an umbrella. We've brought together the existing entrepreneur associations in all manner of businesses, from engineering to exports, to beadwork, to interior decoration, to development, and all these ones come together under FEWA. So when we are lobbying for issues that are cross-cutting, we talk as FEWA. When we want to get matters dealt with at a global scale, at the macro level, we talk as FEWA. When we're dealing with industry issues, we talk at the different industry levels.
Okay.
And in that way, it means that we've got a footprint in all the 47 counties, and we've got women who are able to seek for our assistance at head office to support them in their different associations. We're also now in the process of setting up a full-scale secretariat for FEWA, which will be able to house any other women entrepreneur associations so that they can grow and support their members better.
Who is Joan outside work?
Joan outside work is a mother, a very fun-loving person. I think I really enjoy being a mother. I have 3 children. And when I was growing up, I actually had wanted to have 7 children. So you can see how much I like children. I don't know how I didn't end up with 11 in the final analysis. And I also spend a lot of time, I enjoy fitness. I really like an active life. I enjoy the outdoors. I love traveling. I love friends. I really like enjoying time with friends and family. And to a large degree also, I find that in as much as I run away from it, I'm a bookworm. Okay. I still love reading. So you can imagine with all the things I do, I still find I'm always reading. If I go anywhere, I will always buy a book. Okay. I have to resist. Even when I drive in the streets, I will always buy those magazines. I can't resist.
It's so
something
like
to read.
Kenyan culture because they're not really book people.
It's true. I love to read. I really love to read, and particularly African writers, and where possible, Kenyan writers.
What is your motivation?
I think my motivation shifts with the seasons of life. Initially when I started, my motivation was just making sure that I could pay bills and that my children could go through life. Then it got to a point where the motivation was keeping PMS Group afloat because a young business can collapse very easily. Okay? And then after some time, when we realized that now we're putting the structures, the systems, we've got a good team, everything is working, and so it's not, even without me, PMS Group will exist. I've got a team that can run the show. So that stopped now being my motivation because I know that the sustainability is there. It's now the growth that motivates me because I want to see PMS across Africa. I want to see PMS creating more jobs because that's something that's a passion for me also. I want to see PMS Group also being a place where people come as raw material, and by the time they're being hired by my competitors or by other organizations, they have learned skills that make them more competitive, and therefore they can earn better salaries and provide a better living for their families and for themselves. And sometimes even they can go and set up enterprises and also create jobs, you know? So those are some of the things that motivate me. As life goes on, I find increasingly I'm now motivated in doing for others, doing things that will help others to get ahead. And I think that's where my passion for FEWA comes from. Really just giving back.